Alright, Georgia Title 20 Education Libraries article in State Library Activities. Alright, it is declared by the policy of the state with the part of provision of the public education and promote the establishment of public library service throughout the state. As you the article, board residence means board residence university system of Georgia. Board residents shall be given advice for the council with all libraries, communities, which are the purpose of the established libraries best means establishing, administering them, selection, book cataloging, other detailed library management. All shall exercise supervision of all of the public libraries and endeavor to improve libraries already established. Board agents will also conduct the book lending information serve the benefit of the citizen state with the free of the cost extent with the postage book registering with the authorized book purchase book periodical other instructional materials of such purpose. Board residents may also employ necessary professional clerical staff to carry out the work cited with the code section which may be necessary for traveling expense while engaged in such work. Board residents shall have the authority to give books, money, and other property from any of the public-private source, including the federal government, shall have the authority to perform in any all of the functions necessary to carry out the intent of the purpose of the trade. State library commissions abolish functions of service established and performed by shall be exercised and performed by the board of regents. The collection of the book, periodical documents, or other library materials held with the book of regents designated with the state library. Each department instituted the executive branch of the state of the government, which was reported with the director of the university general libraries before December 1st of each year, containing a list of the title of all the public documents published an issue of the department and institution during proceedings of the official year of the report shall also contain a system of the noting of the frequency of the publication each of the state public document. Director University of Georgia Libraries may disseminate copies on the list such parts of it thereof in such form of the director of the University of Georgia Libraries and his or her discretion deemed shall be best serve public interest for the purpose of article of the public documents, meaning of the book, magazines, journals, pamphlets, reports, bulletins of the publications, agencies of the department, board, bureau, commissions, other institutions, executive branch of the state with the government specifically shall not include the reports of the Supreme Court, Courts of Appeals, journals of the House or of the Senate. The resolutions law of the General Assembly should not include the forms published by agency with the department, board, bureau, commissions, other institutions, executive branch, state, government. Each department, institution with an executive branch state with the government shall submit with the director of the University of Georgia Libraries at least 5 copies with each of the public documents of the department and institution published over the one over the day of the publication and likes less. The director of the University of Georgia Libraries requires additional copies of each of the public publication documents with a maximum of the 60 copies case for the number of cases requested shall be documented submitted. The governor shall all officers who are may or be required to report General Assembly furniture for the director of the University of Georgia and libraries with at least 5 copies of each of the such of the reports, additional copies of the found request for the director of the University of Georgia Libraries. Servant administrator of the Georgia Correctional and Industry Administrator of the Board of Regents, University System Georgia for the owner, other agency of the state of the government will print public documents of the French Director of the University of Georgia Libraries, monthly basis record of all of the public documents printed with a schedule. Printing agency during the preceding month, the director of the University of Georgia Library shall have the authority to such copies of public documents any state with the institutional public library, public school in the state with any other institution of learning which maintains a library, and such copies are available to such copies to furnish them at the reasonable cost of free of charge with the cost of postage shipping. Director of the University of Georgia Libraries deems appropriate. Director of University of Georgia Library shall have the authority to act as exchange agent of the state for the purpose of regular exchange of the state public documents. Several state of the department's institution require with the deposit of the Director of University of Georgia Library purpose 50 copies of each of the public documents as may be specified by the Director of University of Georgia Libraries. Director of University of Georgia Libraries may transfer a book on their whole library holdings to the division archive of the history of the board residents of the university system in Georgia of their public libraries books of the library holdings obsolete with a defect of the worn out surplus otherwise suggestion of the director of the University of Georgia Libraries are not required may be sold or destroyed otherwise disposed of the director of the University of Georgia Libraries without need to comply provision Article 5 Chapter 13 Title 45 relating to the disposition of surplus state books. Director of University of Georgia Libraries shall have the authority to employ necessary personnel, including document libraries, professional personnel, to carry out the power of the duties set forth within the code section. Any person or agency required of the provision code section submitted by the director of the University of Georgia Library copies of the document shall also such of the documents electronic form of the director and specify such electronic form is readily available. In order to effectuate the purpose of the article, that shall be made available to the board originally whenever the funds duly allocated to the proper authority, either a specific operation or otherwise provided by the law. Board of Regents authorized to disburse such funds. Public libraries serve purposes persons of all ages who legally constitute the municipal library boards and to other legally consulted library boards may now that here thereafter be established by law. Board regents so use such funds purposes of the aiding supplemental establishment of the development of public library services. All public libraries in the state shall submit reports annually to the Board of Regents. As given in this code section, acceptable use policy means a policy of the internet usage adopted by the governing board. Public library meets the requirements of the code section. Child pornography means a computer depiction, other material depiction, child under the age of 18 years engaging in sexually explicit with the conduct, simulation, act of such conduct. Harmful to minor means given in such term code section 1612-101. Internet means global network context, computer view with the telephone lines, fiber networks, and both to electronic information obscene with the means given in the terms code section 1612-80. Sexually explicit conduct means given in the code section 1612-100. No later than January 2007. Governing body, each public library shall adopt acceptable use of the public library at minimum acceptable use policy shall contain the provisions which are reasonably designed to 1. Prevent library patrons, including the patrons under 12 to 18 years of age and library employees from using any computer equipment with the communication service that owns and lease for the public library, sending with the receiver the viewing, downloading visual depiction of the vicinity of the child pornography or material that is harmful to minors, establish appropriate measure for the taking against library patrons and employees who willfully violate acceptable use policy. A public library takes such of the property to implement and enforce acceptable use policy, which shall include but not limited to the use of software programs reasonably designated block access with a visual of depiction of the vicinity of the child pornography material with a harmful to the minor selection of line service with the block service access visual depiction of vicinity of the child pornography material with a harmful to the minors. A public library should not be subject to civil liability damage if any portion of the role of the failure to approve the software program approves the online service to block access to the visual depiction of vicinity of the child pornography material with a harmful to minors. Nothing code section shall deem abrogate lessen of the immunity of the other protection against liability according to the public laws under the existing law. A court decision attorney general of the board of regents shall consult with and assist the public law into the development and implementation except use of the policy pursuant the code section. So within January 31st, 2007, each library shall copy the acceptable use of the policy adopted subsection B of the code section of the board resident submission shall also include the identification of the software program service being utilized with the block access material of the accordance in subsection C of the code section. Board of Regents shall review with acceptable use and policy all subsequent revisions submitted pursuant to paragraph 3 in the subsection Board of Regents determined of the review of the policy revision of the reasonably design of the achieve the requirements of the code section. Board Regents shall provide with written notice of the public library explaining with the nature of such non-compliance in public. Library shall have 30 days to receive the written notice to correct such non-compliance. The Board of the Regents provide with extension of 30 days before showing good cause. 3. No revision acceptable use of the policy shall approve of the board regiment pursuant to paragraph 2 subsection implemented with the stuff of the revision approve of the board regiment of the board regiment of the fail of the disapprove of the revisions of the 60 day with the submission received with the public library proposed implementation of the revision. 4. The board resident shall be authorized with the whole portion of the state funding of the public library if the public library fails to timely submit with acceptable use of the policy accordance with the paragraph 1 of the subsection subsubmit accepted for the policy but it does not reasonably designed to achieve the requirements of the code section or is not enforcing substantial of the diswriting acceptable use policy. If the board resident with disapprove with acceptable use of the policy public library any revision thereof with the notice of the public library subject withholding funding pursuant to the paragraph 4 of the subsection public library may appeal with the decision Superior Court of the county with the public library situated with the board agent with a reasonable with the conduct investigation making written termination of the public library is violated with the requirement of the code section of the board resident of the public library violation requirements of the code section and the director of the public library acknowledging correcting violation 30 days to develop corrective plan and prevention future recurrences. Notwithstanding the provision code section on the contrary with the administrator of the supervisor of the public library design with the made to dissolve disabled software program online service to be utilized with the block access material with the adult over the minor over the provider's written consent from his or her parent guardian to enable access for the internet bona fide research over the other lawful purpose. Nothing in paragraph 1 subsection constitutes to permit any person to access the material of the character of the illegal under federal or state law of the public library fulfilling requirements of Federal Child and Internet Protection Act, Public Law 106-554, is not required to comply with the code section. Any city through with a properly construed with the municipal authority may raise taxation from year to year with a permanent lieu with appropriate money purpose for the establishing, erecting, maintaining, assisting with the maintaining public library. Each sum and the sum of the money appropriated with the shall expend with the under direction board trustee with such public library elected with the city council of such city. In a city with the operation shall be made with the part of the money with the operative that shall be withdrawn from the treasury, such city with the warrant with the board of trust public library shall be paid with the time to time with the daily purchase book of the necessary expense of the library, itemized statement of the amounts of the page shall be made annually with the mayor of such city and has been submitted with the properly constituted authorities of such city. Board trustee of public library is authorized to accept and receive the donations, either the money, land, or property, for the purpose of erecting and assisting with the erection of a suitable building, use of public library, maintaining, assisting it in maintaining it. Board trustee public library shall exercise the strict rigid supervision of such public library shall the necessary rules, regulation, government with the control shall elect with the librarian necessary with the assistant library designate some officer with the officer perform duties of the librarian assistant library appoint with the discharge of such officer with the officer is at pleasure. Municipal government of any county with the appropriation shall be made under the part shall have the authority to enter with a legal binding agreement except for the receipt of any donation offered to any the person or person of the agreement by a legal with a binding on a municipal government if the successor had agreements with the municipal government of the city with the pay the sum and the sum of the money and the use of public legal shall legally bind on the city with the ordinance carrying out such agreement to effect and have force over the effect law binding on the city during the time of the mentioned agreement in an ordinance. Alright, governing authority over the county municipality established public library system. Public library established pursuant to the power of the shall be tax exempt institution. Public library may be established following manner with a resolution act with the discretion governing authority of the county municipality and any combination thereof. And approval of voters in the county municipality referendum and election with a question of an established public library provided in paragraph upon written petition containing 35% of the register of the qualified voters of the municipality of the court being filed with the appropriate governing authority of the governing authority shall require the whole of the conduct specified referendum and election for the proposing submitting qualified voters municipality of the county over the question whether the not public library provided with the part of the authorized event with the majority of the person voting election vote over the favor of the public library of the governing authority municipality of the county shall establish public library is provided part of otherwise governing authority shall have no authority to do so following expiration of 2 years after the election is held with the result of the disapproval of the public library with the provided in this for another election of the question shall held with another petition as provided in the paragraph filed with the appropriate governing authority by contract or agreement with the governing authorities over any of the county of the municipality. 41. Each library system shall be governed by the Board of Trustees. Each system of the governing board of the trustee with the other affiliated board trustee with the member library of the county board library trustee with the extra of the authority of the county system regional board of library trustees shall exercise authority municipality county system. 42. County board system shall consider at least one appointment with the government agency with the financial supporting legal or irregular basis appointment that shall be made with a written pursuant of the Constitution by law with the library system transmitted with the appointment with the library. State the length of the term and expiration of the date of the appointment of the regional board of library trustee with the constitute with the trustee with the serve with the member of the county board serve with the appointment of the regional board. Each board of the term special over the written pursuant of the Constitution by laws and library system on the board over the SAG with the continually serve as the board members removed and with the college failure with the 3 consecutive meetings pursuant library system constitution by law of the local constitution by law of the vacancy of the file with the same name of the appointment of the vacancy occurs prior to the expiration of trustee's term with the new appointment shall complete the unexpired term. Members of the governing authority of the county municipality governing agency financial reporting library shall be eligible to appointment and service of the members of the ex officio members of the board of trustees of the library and library system. Any library or library system, no such governing authority shall appoint majority of the members of the board trustee of any library system, nor shall the majority of the board trustee of the library or library system, any library or library system consist of member of the governing authority of any single county municipal government agency. Public library system board trustees may approve provided with the officio board membership within the system constitution by laws. Board trustee with the duty responsible to include but not limited to the following employee with the library to drive with the state certification requirement of the state or other employees necessary with the recommendation of the library system of the director provided Library shall be the authorized delegate with employment staff member of the library system director with approve of the budget for the provided library system director with assume the role for the presentation library advice will need with its supporting agency. To attend board meetings, establish policy governing library programs, include with the rules, regulation governing use of the library, set with the policy, administer with the gift of the monies, property, with the present financial progress report with the governing official office official with the public, notify appropriate authority vacancy of the board, a person being appointed with a complete unexpired role or all or full terms done for the library system of any for the all meeting library board and board committees. 44 member of the board trustee with the receipt of no compensation provided by the staff of the member of the reimbursement for the not reasonable with the national extent of the incur of the performance library business so they stipulate with the term of the request of the gifts of the due for the use of the membership of the local state of the regional national and the library association with the operation funding in accordance with the constitution by law of the library system. Each library system and the director with the meeting for the person employed with the director of the public license for the must hold with a grade 5B, librarian professional with a graduate certificate defined with the state board of certification of the librarians for the provided title with the person with the serving acting with the director of the public library so for the July 1st, 1984 with the authorized continuing to serve with the director. The director shall be the appointment with the board of trustees shall be the administrator of the head of the library system and with the direction of the review of the board of the director of the library system shall have the duties of the responsibility which include but not limited to the following. Recommended employment determination of the staff members of the necessary compliance with the applicable laws availability funding for the employee will determine other staff members authorized library board. Attend all meetings of the office of the public library of the board of resident of the university system of the Georgia substitute with the authorized of the office of the director of the repair local state with the federal annual budget notified of the board of trustee with the office of public libraries of the board of residents university system of the Georgia to any failure to comply with the policy wherever the criteria of the state with the federal rules and regulation applicable local state and federal laws administered of the total library program, including affiliated libraries, in accordance with the policy that adopts the system board of trustee with the time with a meeting with the system board trustee with effective board trustee with designated the person to attend his or her place. Library system shall make the result reports as deemed necessary to the local state funding agencies and every of the case of least annual reports, activities, income, expenditures shall be filed with each funding agency. Board of Trustee each county with a regional member shall have the written constitution by law stating the policy with appointed with the of the board state constitution by laws drafted in accordance with the current edition of handbook with the constitution by law contract of the Georgia Public Libraries. Policies stated the Constitution Board may not conflict with the policy, Constitution, Regional Board, Federal Laws, Regulation, and the Constitution, Regional Board, conflict state, federal laws, regulation, all current constitutions made by laws, official public libraries, with the boards of the resident for the university system of Georgia. All amendments must be filed by the office immediately upon adoption. Clear title fee simple with the approval of the site with the library facility location with the tail with the with the library board or with the trustee with the county with the municipality with the property with the library proof with the west with the library board trustee with the local agent with the make with the major financial contribution to a construction cost with not within with the provision part of the country of the interest over the title of the country and currently with the head with the non-profit organization which now with the being operative with the public library board trustee with the making to the operative with the library board trustee operation. That with the facility with the board of trustees with the official public libraries with the board with the region with the university stuff with the title with the facility with the remain with the hands of the non-profit organization composition library system change when the library system is dissolved with the rest of the library trustee with the office of the public library system with the board resident of the university system show with the serve of the media turning ownership of the property of their property is not limited to equivalent material with the purchase of the state with the federal contracting funds coming through some of the budget with the sum of the budget trustee show with the transfer within its most useful upon dissolution significant structural change the system such property divided with a prorated basis the proportion financial cost proportional born involved parties library system board of trustees shall furnish financial statistical information concerning the parties attempting the agreement if parties are unable to reach mutual agreement a solution to decision property ownership that will be made of office of the public library service board resident university system of Georgia and its designating. 49. Library system authorized to make an enter with such contract agreement is deemed necessary with the dissolve of all such agreement with the enter within shell with the details specifically the nature of service programs, facility with agreement of programs, property to which of the contract with agreements are applicable to provide allocation cost of the other financial responsibility specified with respect with the rights, duties, obligation, and liability with the party. So for the term and condition of the duration, the renewal of the termination, abrogation, or abrogation, disposal of the joint with common property of any of the other matter of the appropriate property or effectuation of the performance of the agreement that no public or private library shall enter within any of the agreement that itself jointly with any other library agency action of the private power engage action when prohibited to constitutional law of the state. 50. Each library handles finance of the must keep the current bond with the adequate amount with the determined of the board of trustee of the record of the means of the library director of the trustee of the board trustee of the other official of the employee of the authorized handle of the fund of the proof of the bond with each of the board must be filed with the renewal application of the state aid. 51. Library system with the dissolve of the reversal procedure of the original organization majority of the board members of the county with the agree with the dissolution of the system once county with the municipal county with the withdrawal of the reversal procedure of the county became member. Local constitution by law with the participation agreement does not specify the notification period with the withdrawal of the proper notice of the time of the 6 months prior to the end of the fiscal year of the notice of the include with the reason withdrawal of the mention of the decision with the reach of the must be shown with the chairman of the system with the board trustee of the system library director board resident of the university system with the notified with the receipt with a letter of the intent of the 5 working days. Upon dissolution, withdrawal of the further share of the federal grant funds of the shall be made with the dissolve of the withdrawing units of the touchdown with the unit reestablished the library pursuing the part of the most meets eligibility requirements such grant funds. Multi-county regional system may likely to expel with a member county with upon the following conditions fail with the county to maintain an agreed level of support with the regional system with the most recent of the system participating agreement. 2. Failure of the county to meet with the criteria of the jeopardized system eligible to share with the federal funds. Since system and constitution by law participating agreement fails to describe the notice period of the expulsion of the proper notice shall be spent not less than 6 months period at the end of the stay with the official year of the notice with the be sent with the chairman of the county with the board trustee with the funding agency party with the participating agreement. System Library Director, Office of the Public Library, with the Board of the Regent University System, Georgia. And upon total dissolution, library system, all property shall be disposed of that provided by this part. Any person shall steal with the unlawful take with the willfully malicious the right upon the cut, tear with the faith of disfigure, so with the obliterate, break, or to destroy, who shall sell with the buyer, receive, knowing it has been stolen, any book of the payment of the document, newspaper, the periodical, map, chart, picture of the portrait, engraving, statue, coin, metal, equipment specimen, the recording video tape video product, microfilm, computer software film, other work, literature, object, art, or the equipment necessary for the display usually belong to and care of the public library shall be guilty of the misdemeanor. Any person who borrows with a public library a book on a newspaper, the magazine, manuscript, the pamphlet, publication, recording, video product, microfilm, computer software film, and the article with the equipment necessary to display with the using belong or into care of the such public library, an agreement to return it thereafter fail with the return such book, newspaper, magazine, manuscript, pamphlet, publication, recording, video product, microfilm, computer software film, or the article equipment necessary to do its display with the using shall be given a written notice mailed with the last known address delivered to the person returned such article with equipment within 15 days of the date of such notification. Such notification should contain the code of this section, and that such person therefore willfully fail to return the article equipment within 15 days shall be the person guilty of misdemeanor upon conviction thereof shall be punished with not more than $500 imprisonment, no more than 30 days, and shall be required to return such article to the equipment, provided reimbursement or replacement costs of such article of equipment. 2554. Any person with a willful, without authority, with an intent to deprive of the public library ownership of the stuff of the property, conceal the book of the public library property with the premise of the public library with willfully authority. Remove any book of the property public lawfully guilty with a mischief and the provider with a replacement cost of the public library property with less than $25 of the publishment of the fine no more than $250 of the proof of the willful consentment. Any book other public library property will still on the premise of the public library shall the primary facie of the evidence initiated with the violate code section. 55. Agent employee with the public library, the department office, the of the local government with the cause of the arrest of the person with the pursuit of the provision of the power that shall be made held with civil liability and law with the detention of the team, slander, malicious prosecution, false imprisonment, false arrest, assault with a battery of the person with the test of the unless of the excess of the unreasonable forces wherever the arrest takes place on premises such agent employee with the provided however the cause of the arrest of such person in the public library agent with the employee of the public library time such for the arrest probable cause to believe that the person committed with a willful theft of the concealment of books or the other library property. 56. All persons, professional positions, title of the library must be certified with the State Board of the Certification of Librarians. 57. Any failure to comply provision part of the result of the forfeiture of all state federal library aid to the system. 58. Any a library system existing on July 1st, 1984, still having until the July 1st, 1989, comply with the full of the provision of the part any provision contrary with Chapter 24, Title 43, relating to the library, shall be superseded with the provision of this part. 59. This part shall not apply with the municipal public library, any municipal public libraries. 60. Even the Interstate Library Compact State Library Agency reference state with the means of the Office of Public Libraries of the Board Regional University System in Georgia. 61. Interstate Library Compact impacted law entered with the other jurisdictional legal joining therein formally substantiated the Interstate Library Compact Article Policy and proceed with the cover the desire of the service of the provide public library trend with the governmental boundary can call for the most effective to satisfy with the given and so for the community with the people regardless of the jurisdictional lines. This policy of the state party with the compact to cooperate with the share of the responsibility outside of the cooperation share with the responsibility of the type of the library facility with the serve of which are more with the economically efficient with the depleted available to maintain with the cooperative base for the authorized cooperative with the share of among local localities state with the other providing joint cooperative libraries in areas where the distribution population existing potential library resources to make other provision of library services in your state with a bullet basis. Most effective way of providing adequate, efficient services. Article 2, definitions. Using this compact, public library agency means any unit, agency, local, state government operating having the power to operate a library. Private library agency means a non-governmental entity operating with the assumed legal obligation to operate the library. Library agreement means a contracting established interstate library district pursuing a compact with providing joint comparative furnishing library services. Article 3. Interstate library districts, any one of the more public library in the party state with a cooperation over the public library agency, aiding with one or more with the party state with a established with maintain an interstate library district. Subject provision compact with any other law party state with a pursuant of the how to remain in an applicable district may establish, maintain, and operate in all of the library facilities served with the area of the concern in accordance with the terms of the library agreement with the appropriate to the library agency for the interstate library district with the main cooperative with the assumed the duties of the responsible for the obligation of thereto with the receipt of the benefit of the provided library agreement with such agency become a party with the interstate of the district with the provided library agreement with the performance library with the function undertake with the joint with a comparative basis with the undertake with the means of one or more with the agreement between with among with the public and private library agency extension of library privileges with the active with the facility served with the operator with the referred one or more individual legal library agencies. If the library agreement to provide with the joint established or maintain the operation library facilities served with the interstate library district shall the district have the power to do one or more of the following in accordance with such library agreement. Or to take advantage of the purchase of the right program arrangement, securing lending, serving with the books, with the other publication of the material suitable to have the more viable to be able to the library equipment, the dissemination information about library's value, significant in particular their use, except for the purpose of the compact with all of the donation, grant money, equipment themselves with the material, the service of the conditional, with otherwise, over any other state of the United States, any of the subdivision agent of the interagency with the firm, an institution, person, firm, corporation, receive, utilize, dispose of the same. Operate mobile library units as equipment for the purpose of rendering bookmobile services within the district, employ for the professional, technical, clerical, other personnel fixed term employment, the compensation of the appropriate benefits where it is desirable, provided for the services and training for such personnel, sued and be sued in court, complete competent jurisdiction, court of the whole as well with any of the real personal property interest that may be appropriate for the rendering of library services. Construct, maintain, and operate the library, including the appropriate branches thereof. Do such other things may be the incidental appropriate to carrying out with any of the forging powers. Article 4, Interstate Library District Governing Board. Interstate Library District established, maintained by the operator with the facility, share with its own right, with the show with the governing board over the data activity affair with the district, with the active with all of the mayors. Alright, interstate library districts. establish, maintain, and operate with the facility, share with the own right, with the with the governing board, with the director, with the fair, with the district, with the first manner, with the relating with the business. Each participating public library agency, the district, representing the governing board, with the organ, with the deck, with the business, with the provision, with the therefore the library agreement does not enter with the governing board meet at least twice a year. Private library agency, part with the library agreement establishing interstate library district with members, with the divide with the governing board, with the district, same manner with the library agreement with the provided. Article 5, State Library Agency Cooperation, and two more state library agency with the two or more parties to states. Undertake with the conductor, joint with the cooperative library program, joint with the vendor cooperative libraries with the ends with the into with the perform arrangement cooperative with the joint acquisition using housing disposition and with the collection of the material with the region with the expense with the rarity. Specialized name with the infinite with the domain with the rare would be an appropriate extra collection with the shared with each of the programs with the arrangements may include with the provision extra with the cooperative joint basis and with the power exercise with the interstate library district agreement embodying in such program service of the agreement and such contain with the provision covering such detailed in Article 6 of Compact Interstate Library Agreements. 6th Library Agreement in order to provide joint cooperative undertaking with a pursuant of the competitive and compact public-private the library agency may enter with the library agreement to execute pursuant with the provision compact shall with among the parties agreement details specific nature of the service of the program facility with agreement the purposes property with which for the applicable the provider by allocation cost the other financial responsibility specific rights and the duty with the obligation of facility liability the parties such for the terms of the condition of the duration renewal termination obligation the disposal of the common property any other matter of the appropriate proper affection performance of the agreement no public private with the library agency and for the extra with itself jointly other library agency and the use of the library agreement any prohibited agency constitutes statute of the state and library agreement shall become effective until the file with the copy with the administrator with each of the chair with the involved with approve of the corner for the Article 7 and with its compact. Article 7, approval of library agreements. The library agreement pursuant to the compact shall provide with any of the condition pursuant to the enter the enforcement of the attorney general of the state with the public library agency party. Thereto situated with the shall determine the agreement the proper form and the compatible with law of the state with the attorney general shall approve of the agreement is submitted with unless it shall find that it does not meet with the conditions set forth here. It shall detail rate and address of the governing public bodies of the public library agencies concerning specific result of the proposed agreement fails to meet with the requirements failure to disapprove of the agreement submitted here under the 90 days of submission of the constitution with the approval thereof in an event with the library agreement pursuant with the compact shall the deal in the whole and part provision service of the facility with regard to the officer of the agency of the state with the government constitutional statutory power control of the agreement the conditions pursuant entry into the force submitted with the state officer of the agency having such power control shall be approved with the disapprove of him and the element of it has with its jurisdiction the same manner of the subject of the same and the requirements governing of the attorney general pursuant with paragraph A of the article requirement submission and approval of the addition with a non-substitution requirement of the submission and approval of the attorney generals. Article 8, Other laws applicable. Nothing in this compact library agreement contribute to supersede the otherwise impair with any obligation put with the library with the otherwise applicable law not authorized to transfer the disposition of the property held in trust. The literary agency may contrary with the terms of such trust. Article 9, appropriate aid with the public agency with the library agreement may appropriate funds of the interstate library district and established with the thereby the same and of the same extent of the library maintained it by the subject of the law state with such public library situated may pledge in credit with the support of the interstate library district established by agreement subject of the provisional library agreement pursuant to the function of the law and state with which of the district situated with the interstate library district may claim and it will receive the state and the federal aid which may available to the library agencies. Compact administrator with the each with the designated with the compact administrator comply with the library agreement of which with the chair with the public library agency with therefore public party shall be filed with the administrator shall have with the power of the made as may be confer with the laws of the state with the may control with the cooperative with the compact administrator with the party with the steps with the take step with the effectuate with the purposes so with the compact if the law of the party state provided that the state designate one more deputy compact administrator and the addition with the compact administrator. Entry into force withdrawal of the compact into the effect of the entrance and enactment of the law into two state thereafter the show of the floor for the act with the state of the poem of the enactment of thereto by the state. Such state compact shall continue in force and respect of the party shall remain binding until the such state with the 6 months that has given the notice over the other party state with the repeal of the withdrawal shall not be contributed relieve in any part of the liberal agreement into with and pursuant of the compact with the obligation of the agreement prior to the end of the duration provided herein. Article 12, construction servability. The compact liberally construe with effectuate the purpose of the provision. Compact shall serve and phrase clause sent to the provision. Compact declared to be contrary with the country with any of the party state with the United States applicable therein, two of the government powers, agency, person, circumstances held invalid. They'll deliver the remainder of the compact applicable thereto the any of the government agency, perform person, circumstances that shall be reflected if the compact shall have the contrary constitution state party. Compact shall remain in the full force of the remaining state with the full force, effective with the remaining state with the full force, effective with the state with effective with all servable matters. No municipality, county, other public subdivision shall be part of the library agreement with the provided construction of the maintenance of the library pursuant to Article 3 subdivision C paragraph 7. Compact pledge credit with the support with such library country capital finance thereof that exhibit the compliance with the laws applicable to municipal counties and political subdivision relating to governmental capital outlay or in the pledging of the credit. Interstate Library District Library Party within state of the may collect intel with the receive the data of the tour of the elderly of the function same with the gentleman's human manner with the function of the eligible the tour of the credit of the within the state with the purpose of computing and a portion of the state aid with the interstate library district state with will consider the portion of the area of the lies within the state of independent entry of the performance aid of the function compute or operation aid accordingly subject to the applicable laws of the state of the district that may apply with the renter of the receiver of the federal aid for which may be eligible. 64. That the board of regents appointed with the office of the state with the compact administrator with the pursuant of the Article 10 of the compact with the board of regents shall appoint one or more deputy compact administrator with the pursuant of such article. 65. The event with the withdrawal of the compact of the board regiment shall assume and receive the notice of the required of the Article 11b of the compact. And that completes Title 5 Libraries.